Good morning and welcome to FloWrestling Radio Live. It is Monday, May 22nd. I'm your host, JD Rader, and my voice is an absolute shambles. But I still made the walk this morning. Unlike a certain normal host, Christian Pyles, I'm joined by Ben Askren. Ben, how's it going?
How can we be sure he's just not late for work? Because, I mean, this guy's late for work on a regular
Notoriously.
basis.
It's not the first time. It's kind of a reoccurring issue.
So we might have to talk to his boss.
We might have to talk to his boss. Maybe it'll be his last show. I doubt it, but we'll see. There was a lot going on this weekend. Did you get to watch most of the World Team Trials, Ben?
Yes, I watched all of it. I'm excited to talk about it. I nailed some predictions, and I really blew it on some predictions. So let's start with what I nailed first, because that's more exciting. I nailed Zahid Valencia. He looked outstanding. I will tell you, I picked him to win. But I was shocked by how bad he tore up Colin Moore. It was not competitive.
When Colin tried that duck under, I think it was already 4-6-0, and Zahid just fed him some hips and sat him down. It was like, good Lord. Christian owes Zahid an apology. He went on a little rant about how he didn't think he was going to be the same up at 92. And I'll admit, I'm kind of like you. I was like, I'm not all the way in that boat like Christian. I didn't think he would dominate like he did. I mean, he looked like he had no issues moving up the extra kilos.
He looked great. I mean, what the guy we thought was going to be really good, or I guess maybe would be able to beat him, would be Nathan Jackson. And Nathan Jackson lost first round to Tanner Sloan, got upset 9-9 or 9-8. I don't remember which one it was.
9-9.
It was 9-9. Okay, so that kind of set the tone. And then but then Zahid blasted him, no problem, and blasted Colin Moore. And, man, after that performance, you're thinking he's probably going to be our rep. I mean, he's got to beat Mike Mock, but as good as he looked, man.
Who had Mike Mock versus Zahid Valencia on their Final X bingo card a month ago? Nobody.
Real, right? That's wild.
But
nobody.
That's the kind of the blessing of the process this year, where you can move up a weight if you don't qualify, I guess. And maybe then, I guess it'll be interesting to see if Zahid can beat Mike Mock, how he'll perform internationally at 92.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't want this to sound disrespectful at all, but I think 92 is one of the weaker weights. So I think there's a decent chance he goes and gets a medal there. And then that would actually give me a huge advantage, because then he'll be sitting out to the semis of Final X next year, which would give him kind of a leg up on the competition.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It really is too bad that 92 isn't an Olympic weight, or else he would kind of be like maybe getting an Olympic spot, but it's going to be tough for him with David at 86 and Aaron Brooks, obviously.
It's sitting really pretty. So, hey, let's talk about what I got wrong. You know what? And I like my reasoning, and you guys brought me back. I said I didn't think Nashon Garrett was the same guy he was. And Nomad actually posted the last 4 trials, he didn't qualify, 0-2, 1-2, I think 1-2. So, judging by that, he had been out of his prime. I mean, that was not a guy who was competing for spots like he had been previous to that. But you guys pointed out, which I don't know what, I was busy at the Open. That's my excuse. I'm making excuses right now. So maybe I thought I saw a bad Nashon match, and I actually didn't. But his Open performance was outstanding, and he follows that up. He killed it this weekend, dominated everybody, looks great.
I watched him at the Open. I'm like, wow, he looks really good. And he lost to Vito, but it was basically one position that lost him the match. It was tied or 1-0 going into the break, and Vito doubled him and forward him and then turned him. And that was pretty much the match in period number 2. So I was like, I think Nashon could have a good tournament here, but that did seem like a bit of an outlier performance from what he's been. Yeah. So I wasn't too sure. And then Dayton looked pretty solid against Seth Gross. Won 8-2, I think, but that 2 was kind of a junk time, late takedown by Gross, and I was like,
Dayton looked great against Gross, but then Gross got technical on the backside by NATO.
Yeah, 10-0.
Surprising.
Yeah, so not Gross's best showing. So I was kind of like, but then you got Nashon who tech 10-0 DeSanto in the semi. So I was kind of like, I think this is almost a toss up, but I'm still feeling pretty good about my pick in Dayton. But dang, Nashon is just
Yeah.
so powerful. The way he took Dayton to his back off that double.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other thing that I feel, I always feel weird like criticizing Dayton given the amount of success he's had, but he still just doesn't have the ability to go to the legs. Like, when he got down big against Nashon, it was like, okay, well, you kind of need
He
to
was kind of working for pushouts.
yeah, he was working for pushouts, and because he tried pushing really hard on that initial double under, and he got thrown, which I don't understand how that one was two. I think
I
should have
think
been either four
correct
or
throw.
one. I guess maybe they said correct throw. Is that what they
I
said?
think so, which I didn't even realize was still a thing.
Awful thing. It's a very awful thing, but I could not see the exposure from my back, from where I was at, from the vantage point we were watching. So I thought it should either be four if he exposes him, or one for a push out if he does not. But kind of like after that sequence, you think, okay, he's not going to push as much with the underhook given what just happened, but he did. And I want to say the Sean Wizard kicked him out of bounds twice more, maybe
Nashon is so tricky on the edge with
on the
that
edge. Yeah.
wizard and the way he's very good at grounding himself and pivoting right when he's about to go out. I went back and watched his match with Vito from the Open after the tournament yesterday. That's the Final X matchup now. And he did the same thing in the first period against Vito, where right on the edge, he knows, okay, I can put my hand out, but my head, my foot
Yep.
can't get out. Goes to that wizard and keeps his head up. And he clearly knew that. Dayton did not,
Oh yeah.
I don't think, because he wizard kicked, put Dayton's head down, and you could tell he was like trying to keep his head up from hitting the mat, knowing that if Dayton's head hit first, he would get the point.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, so Dayton's inability to go attack his legs and score points there was like, dang, dude, like, I mean, you're at this really, really high level, but you have this one huge flaw, which is if you do get behind, you have a very hard time catching up because everyone kind of knows what's coming and you're going to dig an underhook and you're going to push hard. And that's kind of it. And you're not going to attack the legs so they can kind of upright themselves and not worry about too many other things.
And Christian and Kozak mentioned it on the call too, that it hurt him in the fact that his top game is so good too. And that's how you can get back in a match. But you got to be able to get on top.
Yes, you got to
obviously to use your parterre.
Yeah, just with the best guys, it's just so hard. It's so hard. If you watch all the best freestyle wrestlers, it's so hard to consistently get on top of someone without being able to go to their legs, from inside trips, throws, drags, and stuff like that. Like you can do them sometimes, slide by. He had a slide by and gross. So it's
That
slide
was a
by.
nice slide by.
All these other moves, like you can get on top sometimes, but it's hard to consistently get on top with that skill set without being able to go to the legs. And then it's like, okay, well, he's also good off scrambles, but if the other person's winning, they don't need to put themselves unnecessarily underneath you, right? So they can just not shoot.
Now,
Yeah.
in Nashon's semifinal with DeSanto, I thought it was interesting when they cautioned DeSanto, not the first time, but the second time.
Yeah.
I think they said he didn't open up on bottom, but it looked like to me that Nashon was controlling his wrist.
So I couldn't see from my camera. Well, I feel like I didn't have a good view of it, but I wish in freestyle wrestling they would call that more often, because I think what would happen if you call more often, people would know you're actually going to call it, and then people would just stop doing it, which is grabbing fingers on bottom because it's crap. You
I
shouldn't
think
be able
maybe
to grab
that's what DeSanto was doing.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be able to do it. So if the referee, but the referees don't call it a lot. So especially like the youth and high school levels, like we see it a lot because the referees don't call it a lot. And it's like if they just called it sometimes, then everyone would know I can't do that because they're actually going to call it, and we would have that problem be fixed real quickly. The one thing that I was really impressed with, it sure appeared, man, it appeared that DeSanto had grabbed the leg on that gut wrench a couple times,
Mm-hmm.
and Nashon's ability to pop that thing through was really impressive. Because on both the last two, I was like, "Oh shoot, he's gonna
He's about
get
to get
stepped over here."
Yeah.
Like, man, it was close. It felt like that was what was gonna happen, and he was able to pop it through, and that was really impressive.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I mean, you close out DeSanto like that, you don't even give him an opportunity to use his gas tank in the second period and come back, which I believe is what happened to Nashon when they wrestled
Yeah.
a while back. And Nashon got up
I
like
watched it.
8-0. And then DeSanto ended up winning 14-13 or something.
It was
Like
it was
that.
ridiculous.
So it was a nice work by Nashon to close it out when he got the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, man. He looked really good. And despite the fact that you're like, holy moly, he looked good, I'm still not giving him a very good chance against Vito, because Vito just beat him, and Vito looked so good in the last 2.5, 3 months.
It's a match, it's a thing, but yeah,
Sure.
especially 2 out of 3. Not too many people are going to be picking Nashon, and for good reason. Nobody's hotter right now than Vito.
Nobody. I mean, honestly, in all of American wrestling, who?
Yeah, no.
Nobody, I don't think, right?
Do you think we have seen regression?
Oh, Gable. How about Gable?
Gable. Okay, yeah.
Gable.
Do you think we have seen regression from Dayton, or is this just Nashon's balling out right now, and so is Vito? Because, like, kind of to what I was saying earlier, I thought Dayton looked really good against Gross. Obviously, you pointed out a big hole in his game that he has not been able to really develop. So I don't think we've seen a lot of regression from Dayton, but maybe just a lack of evolution.
That's I said the word regression, and I said I felt bad about using the word, given the fact that he competes at such a high level. It feels weird, like, saying that, and also that he's so young. Although, remember, that was a show where we brought up he's actually 25 somehow, which that like blows my mind, because I feel like he's like 22 or something. Feels really strange. So yeah, I mean, I think it is just the fact that he has a very specific skill set, and if he's able to get there, he's able to beat some of the best guys in the world. But at this point, everyone knows what skill set is coming at you. And so for certain people, especially if you can get a lead, it's kind of easy-ish to game plan against for the very, very best guys, right? If you're not one of the very best guys, you just can't deal with them, right? But if you're one of the very best guys and you get a lead, it's kind of easy to game plan against.
Yep. So that was 61. DeSanto did end up coming back for third. We talked kind of 92. Nate Jackson ended up coming back for third at 92.
I don't know how to bring this up. I should have brought this up to lead the show. Great American Hero almost got it done. Did you watch this?
So match? Close. That was the craziest match of the tournament.
I guess it took the last gut wrench away because his head was out of bounds. Yes. I was watching without volume, but that had to be why.
Yes, correct.
He kind of broke Mason on that gut wrench sequence, because Mason just started turning over.
He was just flopping over, and then he was holding his ribs afterwards, and it was like, did Wyatt Hendrickson just break Mason Parris' ribs with a gut wrench?
Seriously, right? Because he defended like one hard, and then like I feel like the second. How many? So he got 4 gut wrenches, but they scored him 5 initially, and they took one away.
Right.
He just kind of flopped over on number 3 and 4.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it was wild.
And then he does end up winning. Mason takes him down and wins. Almost gave up the step out at the end.
Almost the last one. So here's Wyatt's problem. Wyatt, I'm gonna give you some advice because you're my favorite wrestler, favorite non-AWA wrestler. Is I think Wyatt's done so much offense in his life, he doesn't have basic defense. Because when there was 40 seconds left and he was up 10-6.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he couldn't stop Mason from getting to his legs.
No.
Yeah.
And then
work on that.
Even after Mason won that one, you could tell he was still kind of favoring his torso and his ribs. And I was kind of like, is Mason going to be healthy enough to take on Gwiz here in the finals, which he obviously was. He looked solid against Gwiz. He ended up winning that one, what was it, 6-2? I
4-2.
think.
Yep. Got a late take. So it's 4-2. It's competitive, and then he's got a takedown at the end to seal it. The takedown at the end was kind of funny actually because he has Gwizdowski in like a chest wrap. And Gwizdowski like peeks out and goes to his butt, but Mason doesn't fall over, right? But he got out of the chest wrap. So he peeks out here. And then so he's sitting on his butt and Mason's over there because the peek out kind of worked halfway. And then Quiz was like, wait, I got to get out of here. And he started turning to get out of here. And then Mason's like, just jumps on him. It was hilarious.
That's great. And
so
to come back to the Hendrickson Paris semi, it was almost an opposite scenario of what happened at their U.S. Open match, where Wyatt got up 7-0 before Mason came back to win. So, gritty performance by Mason to get that done.
First round also.
Yeah, 10-0. That pack has separated themselves from Cassiope a little bit.
Yes. This would be another one that's as good as Mason Paris looked. It's hard to dream of him challenging Gable in 2 weeks.
After what we just saw.
Weeks. I think we have 3 weeks.
3, because Ohio U20, U23s in 2 weeks, and then the week after. Yeah. It's Final X in Newark.
And the cadet duels. I know I've committed to coach. I really wanted to go to Final X. I was going to take my girls, but then I had already committed to coaching the cadet duels. And then I was like, okay, wait. If it's at night, I can just drive from Rockford, or I think we're in Rockford or DeKalb or somewhere like that, and then drive to Chicago and fly to New York and watch it. But you guys are going all day with Final X. It like starts in the morning or something, and
we have to. It's all 3 styles, all 10 weights.
Yeah,
2 and 3 matches each weight. It's going to be an all day thing. There will be multiple mats, I believe. I think there's going to be 2.
Isn't there? I thought there was a mat per style or something to that effect. Like this is the Greco mat, this is the freestyle mat, this is the women's mat, which I really hope so, because from a spectator, I can't stand it when you guys jumble it all up and stuff, and then it's like I have to like dig through like where am I watching? What am I watching? I got to keep switching mats. It's like, well, just say, hey, this is the women's mat. We're going from 1 to 10. Greco mat 1 to 10, freestyle mat 1 to 10. I think that's so simple.
Yeah, I think it is 1 mat per style.
Nice, love it.
But don't quote me on that for sure. But I'm pretty sure that's what it'll be.
Okay, yeah. So heavyweight was fun.
I will say, Great American Hero did lose to Don Bradley for 3rd.
Oh, I know. Let's give Don Bradley a shot. I saw a Facebook post by Don Bradley this morning. This man, he's kind of a legend. And I was thinking about how, if someone like does a 4-time All-American in college, everyone's like appreciates like how they were able to be consistent and do it all 4 years.
Don Bradley's been top 5 in the country for over a decade.
Well, he's placed in 50. So the post he made this morning, I'm gonna go find it. Hold on, I'm gonna go find it just so I get it. So he's placed at the U.S. Open 15 times. He won his 3rd Pan Am title. This was his 11th World Team Trials, and then he also got his Masters all in the last month.
Wow!
I know,
shout out to Don Bradley.
How many people do you think have placed at 11 World Team Trials and 15 U.S. Opens? It can't be very many.
Yeah, no. I'm sure, there's a couple heavyweights that have, but
Baumgartner. I mean, JB's getting kind of old.
He doesn't have the World Team Trials and the U.S. Opens in his back pocket because he doesn't wrestle at them either.
Because he doesn't wrestle at them, so he definitely doesn't have the U.S. Opens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dang. Yeah, so wild for Don Bradley.
And then Mason and Wyatt did their best Don Bradley impression too, going into the table.
That was crap. I didn't like that. I was yelling at my computer during that while I was cheering for the Great American Hero. Sorry, Mason Paris. I don't know you. But, I cheer for the Great American Hero. But it's so dumb because it felt like the whistle was blown and they were way out of bounds. And he just kept trying to take him down. And it's like, that's where the out of bounds rules, and I've raged on this board, like, it would make so much more sense if everyone just knew what they were, right? Because sometimes you get 27 steps out of bounds and sometimes you get 1. It's like everyone get 2 steps out of bounds, or your feet still have to be in bounds, or I don't know, something, right? But Mason Paris thought he wanted to get 2 points, so he just kept trying to take him down, even though it was way out of bounds.
Yeah. I'm more in favor of like just keep it simple. Like if you score within one step after going out of bounds, maybe that can, because continuation I think is kind of a good thing. You do want to incentivize the guy getting a takedown, but you can't be having 260-pound dudes going into the table.
No.
Somebody's gonna get
And
hurt.
the other thing that's bullcrap is that obviously if you're headed like in a say a parallel direction to where the floor is at, you're gonna have a lot of space. I mean, the one that always comes to my head when I think about
Kyle
this,
Dake.
Dake Taylor. You're too young to remember this. This was 2015.
No, I remember it.
You don't remember?
It was in the middle of the other mat, right next to it.
Yeah, it was seven mat spaces away. It was so ridiculous.
Yes.
It was like, and they scored a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was absurd.
Let's keep it simple.
Yes, keep it simple, stupid.
Hey, the other one I saw James Green tweeting about, and this one really bugs me a lot. But it's been a freestyle rule. It's actually been one of the consistent freestyle rules for as long as I can remember. So we'll say approximately 20 years ish, maybe more. Is if you're on your back and you bridge, right, and you go out of bounds, they give it a caution in 2, and it's like, but where else do you want them to go? And when you're bridging, it's not like you can bridge and go towards your feet. It's like you can only bridge and go one direction. You bridge because that's your only way not to get pinned. And when you bridge, you move towards your head. And then if you're pointing that direction, you go out of bounds. It's not like you can point yourself in that direction. It's literally your only place to go not to get pinned. So it's like you're saying either I have to get pinned or I have to give up a caution in 2. It is the stupidest rule ever. I really wish that one would be outlawed.
I agree. And I think even a lot of the cautions on the feet, I know that's an emphasis now for the officials, so they're calling it correctly, but I think the emphasis has gone too much kind of to the
caution. The second to last push out, or maybe it was the last, in the Sloan Jackson match. Sloan was trying hard to get back in bounds, and they gave him a caution 1. Yeah, that's not what it should be for. That guy was trying hard not to go to bounds.
And I mean, I think aren't you supposed to like kind of be able to let the guy back in too? Because you're not technically supposed to just like straight arm push either.
Yeah.
Which
that
one only ever gets called at once in a blue moon.
Because you can push them with a single leg straight out of bounds or an underhook straight out of bounds. But if you're pushing them with more straight arms, they say that's like not as good of a wrestling technique. But to me, that's harder. If you give me an underhook, I can push you anywhere I want. If I get straight arm, I'm kind of vulnerable because you can snap me or you can drag me or you could do, pop me up and go underneath me. Like, I don't know. I'm not pushing someone with straight arms. I'll push them with an underhook or a seatbelt or something, but straight arms, I don't think so.
It is kind of funny too, and I've never really thought about it until now, but like if you get a single leg and you just walk a guy out of bounds, you definitely weren't trying for a finish. You were trying for a step out. But if you're just pushing a guy, that's not okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's kind of interesting.
And also obviously when the guy has the leg up in the air, it's almost like they have no defense whatsoever. But yeah, you just very accepted.
So that was the men's freestyle world team trials, just 3 weights there. The women had 4 weights, not quite as exciting in the lighter weights. Chikara won easily. I think she teched everybody. Emma Bruntel teched her way through it. Jen Page.
She got a nice lace also.
Jennifer Page won easily. 7-0 over Hedrick. 11-4 over Maya Nelson. 76 was fun though, because I don't know what the hell happened to Adeline in between the U.S. Open and this weekend, but she looked completely different.
Yeah, maybe it was just, I mean, I don't know, did she ever come out and say like how long she was actually on the mat prior to the U.S. Open? Because it does appear that 3 weeks made the difference, and sometimes maybe it was her just shaking out the first competition.
Yeah.
Obviously, usually I'd say like the first competition back after injury is generally worse. This wasn't an injury; it was a baby, which is probably harder than most injuries, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was it. Just she had to shake out. Because, yeah, she looked like a completely different person than what she looked like 3 weeks ago.
100%. And in her semifinal against Kylie Welker, I think she got down 3-0. And I was kind of like, here we go. Like, that's kind of what I predicted. I was like, Adeline might be able to win her semifinal, but just based on what we saw at the US Open, I am not picking her to win a semi and a final. And she gets on top of Kylie Welker and gets it done. Parterre for her made the difference in both her semifinal and finals match. Finals, it was 12-1 over Diamond, which is just a complete pivot from
She was down
a couple weeks ago.
8-0 push-outs.
Yeah, and like Diamond was dominating that match, and this one was all Adeline. She was able to take her down. She was able to turn her, everything. So
Yeah, she looks good. So that makes you think, can she be competitive with Kennedy? Because, she wasn't competitive with Kennedy 3 weeks ago, but 3 weeks ago, she's also getting killed by Diamond. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it's going to be significantly more competitive, although I think Kennedy is a step up from Diamond. If we were making tiers, I was trying to describe the tiers thing to a friend who doesn't watch the show a lot. Yesterday, I was trying to describe tiers to them, and I think I did it successfully. But if we were making tiers for this weight class, I think Kennedy would be above Diamond.
So I agree. Is Adeline now still in a tier with Diamond and Kylie? And I'll throw McCove in there too. I think she has to be. Because she's 2-0 against Diamond, but that first match, that was close.
Has anyone else, I guess in their first match at was it U20 or U23s? I don't recall which age group it was because it was the same weekend. But one of the Blades Welker matches was competitive. The other one was not. One was close and one was not close. I don't remember which one was which. So, maybe Kennedy hasn't distanced herself enough to be considered.
It was the first one. It was 8-6, and then Kennedy pinned her in round 2.
And it was like 7-0 or something when she pinned her also. So it was like the second one wasn't competitive. But I guess part of me feels like Kennedy is distancing herself from the rest of this field and the rest of a very good field at that. But maybe I guess I would wait. Maybe I'll wait 3 weeks till I determine that she's on her own island.
Yeah, it's probably the safe bet. And there is something to be said. Like, I thought Adeline had a big brother type effect on a lot of these girls where maybe they were better, but there's something like mentally that just goes, I'm wrestling this legend, I shouldn't win. And that allows them to win. I think that's maybe what happened against Diamond at the US Open, where she's beating her and then just obviously has a mental lapse at the end where it's something where she doesn't think she should win the match. So she doesn't. But I think, and I thought she might have the same effect on Kennedy. Obviously, she did not. I don't think she will have Final X either, but there is something to be said for that. And just the fact that Adeline has always found a way.
Kennedy just has a different skill set than the rest of these girls. So that's a big deal.
Oh, 100%. I thought maybe McQuaid would have been a little bit more competitive. Kylie did end up coming back and beating her, teching her for third place on the backside. Diamond beat her. Her match with Diamond was competitive in the semis, though. Diamond only won 9-6, but it'll be a fun way to follow here for the next 4-8 years with all those girls at the top.
Yeah, that's it. Especially if Amit or
you kind of think Amit's going to go down to 68 next year, right?
But sometimes people grow and they just can't make weight.
I know.
You don't know.
And yeah, she was going to go up to 76 previously. I think. But with Tamira gone, it's like you think
She's
Steiner.
young. She might just get too big where she doesn't have a choice.
I know she might, but if I'm Coach Steiner, I'm telling her, look, come here, come here. It might not be fun, but
You're gonna
let's get you
stop
down to
growing.
68. Yes, even though you're only what 20? What is she? 20 years old? 21?
Teammate.
Yeah, she might still be a teenager. That's crazy.
I think she actually is, because it wasn't 2 years ago where she might, yeah, because it was she might only be 18, JD, because USA Wrestling and FILA or UWW go by birth year, right? That's how it determines what age group you're in.
She was not old enough to wrestle at the Olympic trials in
Wasn't old enough to
2016.
wrestle until 2021, and you have to
2021.
be 2021. You have to be the 18-year-old birth year in order to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be born where you're going to turn 18 in that calendar year. And wasn't there something like she was like a December something birthday? So that was why like a few days away, something like that.
Yes.
Like
she's like,
oh my goodness.
Before.
What's up, guys?
Wow. Oh, look who it is. Look who decided to show up. Show up to work.
Man, I'd have been here so much earlier. Hey, you know what? If you take nothing away from the show, if you were flying United and you think you can just screenshot your little print PDF thing and get through security, you cannot. They said that doesn't. They said that doesn't work. Yeah, you gave me a whole runaround.
You don't have the app like an adult.
I don't have the app, and I'm not an adult. So yes.
No, but Christian's right. I mean, I do it with my Southwest app. Is I check in, I screenshot my ticket because sometimes like the internet's getting funny and it won't come back up the next day. So then I'll just go to my pictures and I have it and you check in.
Exactly. This is America.
That's right.
But anyways, I
don't know whoever you're talking to. I think they're wrong, Christian. I'm gonna tell you. I think they're wrong.
I told him the same thing. I said, I channeled my inner Ben Askren. I said, listen, you don't need my boarding pass. You have my ID, which says I'm supposed to be on a flight today. Just let me through. Most of the time, they don't even ask.
Yeah, actually, I don't even give my boarding pass anymore.
You know?
Pre-check, baby.
Pre-check. So, you know what? I'm a separate tier of human, and I get to go through with less scrutiny, I thought.
Pre-check. Best thing ever.
World Team Trials. What were y'all's takeaways? I've got.
We already just crushed it. JD and I just crushed it. We talked about all the ways. We talked about all the.
I can give you my cliff notes.
Cliff noted.
I can give you my cliff notes. Okay. One, honestly, the thing I've been thinking about the most is like, I was so totally stunned that Adeline Gray wrestled that well after her U.S. Open performance. I was like fully ready and expecting her to lose like in a semi or something, not even make it to the finals. And she just did a complete 180. So I'm not handing that spot to Kennedy like I probably was.
It's a thing.
One day ago. Yeah, it's a thing. Man, Zahid's gonna. I mean, so I was. I kind of with big time on Zahid. Man, I did not expect him to be that much better than Colin Moore, and he was so much better.
It was wild how easily.
And it was stunning. And I also think Nate Jackson's just kind of taken a step back from a year ago. Don't think it was the same guy we saw last year. Not that it would have mattered. I don't think anyone was beating Zahid on yesterday, but that was another takeaway. But yeah, I thought Colin would be able to be way more competitive. He looked fantastic.
I do think Colin was a little hurt. He was kind of favoring that knee and that elbow still.
100%.
But still the power from Zahid when Colin tried to duck and he just sat him down with his hips.
So I don't know about power. I think that was like a timing thing. Zahid timed that perfectly when Colin went down and he was at the bottom. He hipped in great.
I feel like they were like, listen, he's going to do this duck at some point. Like they were so prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. I mean, I think he's probably going to beat Mike Mock, right? I mean, how can you?
That was what I said. You got to make him the favorite after how good he looked.
100%, you make him the favorite. I'm giving Nashon a real shot against Vito. I know that it was 9-2 last time. Yeah, I mean, I think with both guys we've seen such variance in performance, and Vito's on the heater right now, and Vito's the deserved favorite. But I'm not writing off Nashon after that performance.
2 out
After
of
what he did to
3
Dayton.
definitely will help Vito. And we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I went back and rewatched their match from the Open. And on the scoreboard, it wasn't that close, but it was basically one position for Vito. He forward him and then turned him. And that was kind of the match. He ended up getting a late takedown as Nashon was really trying to attack and score at the end. But it was 1-0 at the break with like 2 minutes to go or something like that.
Yeah, and we were just poised for a DeSanto fix, DeSanto gross thing, and he just blew it up big time. I think we alluded to it on the last show.
I counted him out a little bit.
Yeah. But I think it was just a classic. Look at my delivery girl here. Look at this.
Wait, what's going on? Hold on.
That's my daughter. She was in the McDonald's line getting the order.
Hey, how old is she now? Is she's old enough to go do that by herself?
She's old enough. Well, I can see the line, but yeah, she's old enough. She's 10. She's old enough.
Where are you? What airport is that? I can't tell.
Denver. Yeah. So one other thing, just to give you a little air cover, Ben, on Nashon, it's like, man, with the Open, it's so like final focused, and he missed so many matches with so many high level matches, which brings change too. That I think we just kind of missed that it was that match happened initially. But yeah, great performance by Nashon, man.
That was the excuse I used, Christian. And actually, Nomad made a post where his last 4 trials were 0-2, 1-2, 1-2 didn't qualify. And so, I don't feel that bad about saying his best performances were prior to that. But yeah, I said I whiffed on watching him at the Open because you guys correctly pointed out that he looked really good.
And I think you give credit to Nashon because he did the work, but man, I feel like he bounced around a lot of places, and it seems like the fit at Lehigh Valley, Coach McCoy and Zach Ray was in his corner. Man, I feel like that has to have contributed a significant amount. So give some credit there as well.
This is the sharpest version of any we've seen since his Cornell days, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would say, well, in 2018, he made the team and beat Greco-Roman.
That's true. People forget.
Medaled.
Medaled.
And that was at Arizona State. So, he's had these glimpses. He had these moments where like, this guy could be a world champion, no doubt. And then there's been some performances you're like, is it over for him? And you just never know. It's definitely not over. I mean, his size is a thing too. Standing there on the mat, just how much bigger he was than just at least eyeball, like Dayton and who wrestled Tomasello. That stood out as well.
Yeah. So that's one thing I was thinking about too, is where are all these dudes gonna go next year? If you take that 61 bracket, it was a really tough bracket. None of them are gonna be 61 next year. They're either going up or they're going down. That's it.
100%. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Final X is so interesting now with Vito and Nashon. We talked about Zahid and Mike Mock. Mason looked really good. Sort of a strange tournament, with the Wyatt
Great American
Hendrickson.
Hero. Give the Great American Hero his credit, Christian. You're in Colorado.
He got 4th. He got correct thrown twice by Dom Bradley.
That's the stupidest call ever. Correct
Bro,
throws.
Man, and Ben feels it. That's like, you got your former teammate Dom Bradley. You've got Great American Hero Wrestling show. You must have been.
We did
a basket case.
I actually gave Dom Bradley. We gave him a shout out earlier. He is. I'll repeat it for you. He is now placed in 15 U.S. Open and 11 World Team Trials. And he got his Masters all in the last month. It's pretty insane.
What a beast! Dom Bradley is awesome. So yeah, Mason takes out Quiz. Good match there. I wasn't sure if he was going to do it after kind of the first minute of that match, but I think he's utilized all his skills, his tools. He's got crazy power, I think, and able to get it done. So 125 was fun. Where else did y'all go?
We kind of talked through all the weight classes. I was disappointed by Wyatt's ability to do baseline defense after he got that big lead on the gut wrenches, because he got the 4 gut wrenches and then they took the 5th one away. And Mason was kind of flopping over on those last couple. And then, yeah, he just wasn't able to hold his lead.
I legitimately
I
thought Mason's
thought,
ribs might have been broken for a second there.
well,
I
I
legitimately
think
thought
he
Wyatt
said,
Hendrickson might have broken Mason Paris's ribs.
I think he said in his interview, it was like dislocated or something like that. It's hurt. It's
I was worried about
ribs
him going
definitely
into
hurt.
the quiz match.
Oh, Tyler, our guy Tyler was freaking out because he wasn't there. He's like, dude, I haven't seen Mason yet. I was like, he's the last match. It's fine. But he's like, dude, I don't know. But of course, he wrestled. I actually had a different take, Ben, on that match. I thought that was always there for Mason, and he just like he got his big lead and just tried to chill on it, and then
Sure.
paid dearly. And then it's like, okay, I guess I have to score again, and they did it. And it was like, well, Mason, it didn't have to be so dramatic for you, but he's got to improve his parterre defense. Tyler was giving me the finer points of like what he needs to be doing differently. Like he's just not moving underneath there. And, yeah,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure they'll
those
get it
last couple
cleaned.
guts, he just flopped over on.
Yeah, yeah. So he's got to shore that up. Although against Gable Stevenson, that probably won't be it. He doesn't even try.
Yeah, it is
Defend
funny.
people.
Gable should really get. I mean, if Gable's that elite at everything else, why can't Gable be elite at a gut wrench? It's a really simple tactic. You lock your hand, you squeeze as hard as you can, you drive in this motion, and then you give it a good pop. Boom. Gable should be. He should be the best gut wrencher in the world. Gable, I want you to be the best gut wrencher in the year in the world. You can do it. Wait, I said that
Yeah,
backwards. In the world in a year.
in 1 year. Probably could. I just wanted him to just keep getting better on his feet. Just how
I
high
want him
of
to
a
work on
level
his
can he
parterre
reach in neutral?
defense because that's the only thing that
Yes.
scares me.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody is
His
better on
parterre
the
defense.
feet than him. That is the one area where somebody could get him.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Okay. Um, I thought Jennifer, I like how they did the trials this year, and I think it allowed some quality women's depth to move weights. We got Zahid also in Final X. Jennifer Page, I think, is going to do really well. I'm surprised she made the team.
So, wait, can I pose one thing? I meant to pose this earlier to you, JD, when it was just you and I. But now, okay, so Zahid was allowed to move up, okay, when he lost Aaron
Mhm.
Brooks. But now Aaron Brooks, if he doesn't beat David Taylor, is going to be like, wait, I beat that guy this year. He got to move up and made the team, and I didn't get that opportunity, which is
That is crazy.
feels not fair.
That does feel
Man,
wrong.
I hadn't thought about that. And I'm big. So my thing is like, man, at some point you guys say enough's enough. I'm like,
Yeah,
you need Final X to be like a thing that
yeah.
you're pointing towards. It's like the ultimate destination. But it is not 100% fair. Would agree with that. Yeah, that is sort of weird. I hadn't even considered that then, but yeah, it's very likely. Now it's sort of rare that it would happen this way, that a guy would not even make Final X and be a favorite to make the team, but that's where we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were out here saying
I
92
think
is that much better than 86.
it is. It is, and that's the crazy part. It's that much
Stop
better.
it right now, Christian Pyles.
You got Zahid Valencia in there at 92. You've got Mike Mock and Colin Moore.
Bro, Zahid is at 86. Now you just stop it.
All right, how about this? You go dual meet, top to bottom. Y'all gonna have us in the first half, not gonna lie, but the second half, I think our depth's gonna be.
What? So you go David
interesting.
Taylor versus, we'll go Mike Mock. You go Aaron Brooks versus
Zahid. We'll
Colin
coach him
Moore.
up.
No. Zahid is number 3 at 86. Then you go Zahid.
It's my lineup. It's my lineup. I'm just start who I want.
He's going to have to wrestle himself. Who wins?
Oh, there you
92
go.
or 86 seed.
So I have a slight level of vindication that he is, in fact, very small. He weighed in 1 kilo light at 86.
So he weighed in at 85 kilograms?
Yes.
Dang,
Yes.
he's very big.
So I'm at least right that he was small, but he just he transcends size and talent.
So why does he wrestle 79? Is it just because Burroughs is that damn good?
No, he's just been all in on the Olympic thing. He didn't want to go 79 before Burroughs was there.
Sure. Man,
Yeah.
I don't know. World titles count for something. I feel like not a lot of us have world titles. I don't got one. I feel like you go 79. Man, it's not that far away. If you're walking around at 85 kilograms without trying to, because obviously if you're wrestling 92 and you weigh at 85, you're not trying to be 85. You're probably trying to be larger. So, I mean,
Yes.
legitimately, if he just kind of watches intake, he's probably going to be 83, 84. The going to 79 is not hard.
I agree. I just think, yeah, I mean, I agree. And I don't, it's their careers, right? But man, it's like make the team first, make a team, and then, all right, now you can start like positioning for Olympic. But he's kind of made his mind up, like this is what I'm trying to do. So I understand it.
Yeah. Dang.
Okay. Dang, indeed.
What else do you talk about?
Oh, I know. I had one other thing. I was curious for your thoughts. So the DeSanto Nashon match was interesting because it was 2 cautions that just kept
Was he
DeSanto
grabbing
down there
fingers? Is that what
for
they
concern.
were saying on the second caution?
I couldn't tell either. I don't know if he was sealed up too much. He was grabbing anything he could. I mean, he was clinging and holding. But my question for y'all is that first caution. Do you think that was for sure should have put him back down? Because like
thought
on the
that one
one
was
hand,
okay.
here's my thought. On the one hand, I do think Austin just sort of left out of bounds. Like I think that probably happened. But on the other hand, that is the exact direction that the single leg finish was going to take him anyway.
That's
So I'm like, I thought it was a little tough. But he's got to open up underneath for sure. I don't disagree with the second caution, but the first one I was kind of like, just seeing it in real time. I was like, that's kind of where it was all going anyway.
yeah, I don't hate it because when people make an excessive attempt to get out of bounds, then it's like, yeah, you should be punished by being put on bottom. But JD and I were saying earlier that we both thought that there was maybe I brought up the scenario when they're on their back and they bridge and they go out of bounds, which is annoying. But then additionally, like I brought up the Tanner Sloan, Nathan Jackson. There was one at the end where it's like Sloan was trying really hard to stay in bounds and he couldn't. And you still gave him a caution in one. It's like I feel like there is an over excessive use of caution ones.
Yeah, I didn't see anything egregious, honestly. I thought it all looked, about what I expected. And there were some I was worried they might do it, and they didn't. They were showed restraint. So, but that was on the other mat, the Nate Tanner Sloan match. Oh, hey, did we? You guys talk about that? It's gonna be Dayton versus DeSanto final X for the national team spot.
Oh shoot, I didn't even realize that.
Me neither.
You swore, buddy. Big swear.
Wow.
Dang. Yeah, that'll be fun.
That will be fun. How many final?
If they're gonna
how many
wrestle,
final
if they both
X,
show up.
How many Truther matches are there gonna be? I know Keegan's wrestling Vincenzo Joseph. Who else?
Once again, if Vincenzo shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't Vincenzo not do his True Third last year?
Yeah, that's why Starachi got it.
We were just working on the damn seatbelt position last week. So I'm pretty sure they're wrestling.
Well, who was working on it?
Keegan was. We had a workout. We were.
We're talking about. Yeah, I'm sure Keegan is. I'm talking about Vincenzo. Last time Vincenzo didn't show up.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah. But
it depends on if you care on making the national team or not.
I haven't even checked his number. I'll just text him. Hey, are you gonna show up at Final X? Just curious.
We're practicing like super hard.
We're really trying to work on the positions you're really good at. So like you're unique. And so, if you're not gonna show up, we probably shouldn't waste our time on that.
Yeah. But then if he's smart, he'll be like, "No, I'm not gonna come," and then show up. That's something Ben Askren would do.
Trickery.
Mm-hmm. So that was all good. Fun tournament. Loved being in Colorado Springs. We want to I didn't pose a question tweet accidentally. I don't know if we have any.
I went back and just rewatched the DeSanto Nashon single leg position. While I agree with you, that is how you finish. DeSanto clearly like crawled and hopped out of bounds, and you have to know you can't do that. Yeah. Like it has become such a point of emphasis, the caution in one for fleeing the mat, that you have to realize I gotta try and work in here.
Yeah, because there's some of them I've seen, maybe not senior level, but obviously I watch a lot of junior and cadets because I'm coaching, where literally it's like a single leg and the guy like finishes and the guy falls over and they fall out of bounds because they're not even jumping. They just fall and they'll be like caution in one. And you're like, no, he just fell over. Like he didn't actually even move. He just tipped over because the guy got both his legs. They're like, nope, caution in one. And you're like, but wait, so he was, but if he couldn't fall over, he wouldn't have fallen over because if he didn't fall over, you only give him one and not two. So he obviously did not want to fall over. And they're like, nope.
And that turned out to be huge for Garrett because they never went back to their feet. He finished the match on top.
That was it. Hey, so another match I wanted to see this weekend, or at least hear about, was Ben Askren versus Dylan Palacio. But it sounds like it didn't. Sounds like it didn't happen.
I found him, and then I said, well, let's just do this. I want, listen, a Bitcoin. I love it. This is easy money. I love wrestling, and I love wrestling. I just like to wrestle people. And he said,
the happiest moment in your life? The
said,
fact that you could have been.
And then I said, well, I'll give it to charity. I won't even keep it for myself. He said, how about the charity of me? And I said, that don't even make any sense. So I said, so we're not going to do this. And he said, no, we ain't going to do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Palacio. This is Ollie Stone is going to hear about this.
This
is a Long Beach indictment.
Homeless wrestlers on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So I kind of had the inclination that he just wanted to pick up. Listen, I got nothing against Dylan Palacio, but let's just say like it is. He wanted to go slam some dudes who were very good at wrestling and get a couple highlight clips.
It's fun to do.
Yeah. That's way more fun than wrestling you.
But at the same time, but he should have an asterisk on there. He should say asterisk unless you wrestle Division I college wrestling or unless you're an All-American or some there should be an asterisk on there like you cannot compete in this division if you have these credentials.
Yes. Are you still in Miami then?
We're just outside Miami. We went somewhere else. But yeah, it was a great conference. A lot of talk about freedom, met some cool people. I had a great time.
Okay. Freedom talk.
Freedom. Listen, I mean, I don't want to evangelize you guys. I know we got 7 minutes left, so maybe, it's refreshing to hear people speak intellectually about how Bitcoin gives us freedom and how the current banking system it kind of has us trapped and how the government can control us through the banking system. So, Liz, I know you guys are my friends. You guys need about Bitcoin. You need to understand the freedom it gives you because if they can control your money, they can control you, and that's how it is.
Gotta stop the controls.
Hey, listen, you're gonna laugh and chuckle about it, and then you're gonna be a Canadian trucker, and they're gonna say, "Christian Pyles, I don't like what you said on social media. You don't have access to your bank account anymore. I'm sorry."
Dang.
I'll say
do that
at that point.
That's why I'm not a trucker. I might have to take you down to get this Bitcoin because that's gonna be a lot harder. Man, I'm sorry I didn't post the questions tweet. That was a mistake.
What? Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well,
hey, I got a question for you. I asked JD that he was not certain. At Final X, I do believe they're wrestling. Every style has its own mat. Is that correct?
You heard correctly, sir.
Okay. So I'm assuming you'll do round 1, 10 matches, then probably 2 third-place matches, and then you'll come back later in the day and do round 2.
I don't know where they're going to put the national team matches, but yes, at 2:00 they're doing Final X round 1, and then at like 6 p.m. they're doing round 2, Eastern, of course. So yeah, I don't know where they'll put them. Sometimes I think last year they put them before the second round, but don't hold me to that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
So that would be my guess is when they're going to do it, and it may be like not. They may do it like before the show itself starts. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Are you going, Ben?
I was just complaining I'm not because I committed to coach the Wisconsin team at the cadet duels, and I really wanted to go, and I was kind of hoping it ended at like 1:00 last year, or maybe noon or something to that effect. I was thinking if it was like a 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Final X, I would maybe sneak over there and go, but you guys are starting a lot earlier.
Where's cadet duels?
It's in Rockford, Illinois, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of directs from Rockford to JFK.
Well, it's actually not that
Or
far
Newark.
from Chicago, but yeah, I don't think I would make it.
Dang. Well, it's gonna be a good time. I can't wait for it. Is there anything in between? We got
Yes,
U20s, U23s.
U20s, the best one of them all.
I'll be there.
Is that next? JD will be there.
It's not this upcoming
2 weeks.
weekend, but the weekend after.
Nice. Yeah, because this weekend is, I think we're rapidly approaching Theon's Memorial Day banger.
Is that going to be live streamed?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, it'll be on actually every Flow platform. Grappling.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would be
Everyone
the
should-
most appropriate platform for Sion's Memorial Day cook-off?
We would need to bring back the combat channel. We'll do that. Or bring back, there was a fake wrestling one called Flow Slam. We could bring that one back. It would
Probably that one.
be Target demo for sure.
Nice. Love it.
Nice. Yep, that'll be good. Okay. Well, it's 8:26. I think we can cut out a couple minutes.
It's actually 10:26 my time.
It's actually 9:26
Oh, yeah.
my time.
This is weird. This is weird. But this show brought us together across time zones across the country. Very good stuff. Appreciate you guys tuning in this weekend for World Team Talk. We'll be back Thursday for sure. Hopefully Shane Sparks is joining us.
Oh my God.
And yeah, we can only hope. And we have to pick another movie, and we gotta pick a better one. Ben.
This request is so bad. It's so
Hey,
bad.
someone came up to me at trials and was like, "Hey, really, my wife didn't like it, but we liked it when you were talking about the movies." He's like, "You made it." He was like, "You guys made some good points about Roadhouse." I'm like, "All right, maybe we'll do it again." The summers are long, you know. We can throw in some cheesy 80s movie. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be back Thursday. Have a great week. Happy Monday. Safe travels, Ben.